to our next edition of Think Suburbia, the podcast of the Suburban Virginia Republican Coalition. We are really thrilled to welcome today guests from an organization to which both of our hosts belong. And we are also want to welcome our new co-host, Mary Campbell, a part of the Suburban Virginia Republican Coalition. She will serve as co-host with me, Jill Cook, one of the founders of SUVGOP, and Mary is also one of the co-founders of SUVGOP. So welcome, Mary. And Mary, would you introduce our guests?
Yes, thank you, Jill. Today we are delighted to have with us our leaders of our forum, Kimberly, Genau, and Terri Hasdorff. Kimberly, I know that you serve as our executive director and that you've been on the board for over 20 years. Could you tell us just a little bit about your role in the organization?
Sure, I'd be glad to. Thanks so much, Mary, for having us on today. The Republican Women's Federal Forum was founded in 1973. If you can imagine, what an amazing time between now and then. But it was founded by prominent women in Washington, such as Barbara Bush, Anne Armstrong, who was an advisor to President Nixon, and of course, Betty Ford. So we have some incredible origins regarding the Republican Women's Federal Forum.
Thank you, Kimberly. And Terri, I know that you serve as vice chairman of the organization and that you have actually run for Congress, I believe, yes, and that you are a very big advocate for women. So could you tell us a little bit more about your role in the forum?
Yes, absolutely. Well, the forum, it was one of the things that encouraged me to run for Congress. That's part of what is amazing about this forum. It's just a network of incredible women. And I think one of my favorite parts about it is just one of the, ways that you can connect to such high level people in a setting that normally you just wouldn't find anywhere else. Just share a personal story about that. I think one of my favorite people that we've had to come and speak in the last couple of years was Sarah Huckabee Sanders. And Sarah, is just a powerhouse. She's amazing. We got to spend some time together before she spoke, and it was just amazing to just get to know her a little bit. She took time with us. Everybody, I think, really got to ask her questions and interact with her in a way that is just very rare in Washington, especially. And now she's gone on to run for governor in her home state. Wow. And that is just so exciting. And we are 100% behind her. And that's really what the forum is all about. It's women networking together and educating and training each other and helping build each other up. And Kimberly has certainly done that for me in a lot of ways over the years. She was one of my biggest fans when I decided to run for Congress. And I'm sure the next time I run, she'll be there too.
That's awesome.
Excellent. Kimberly, speaking of the Sanders event, the Sarah Huckabee Sanders event, would you tell us a little bit more about that particular event?
Absolutely. I mean, as you know, when you're working with people that are in significant influential positions, it's often hard to nail down their schedule. And we did have to put this caveat in our invitation saying that, the president's schedule would be the priority first. And if we can steal her from the president, for just even a luncheon or a moment, it would be so amazing. And she was so gracious with her time. And it was just such a beautiful event. We had actually had a waiting list, a number of people. We were just squeezing in as many people as we could to the Capitol Hill Club. We meet typically the second and third Thursday of every month for a luncheon, and it was just such a fabulous opportunity. And we do create, special VIP opportunities with the forum. So if you join at, for instance, a presidential level, it's $500 for the whole year. And you get to do 2 VIP meet and greets, which would be something we have a keynote, and you'll get an opportunity to do some real, maybe handshaking, or here, maybe not handshaking in COVID, but handshaking in your heart nonetheless. But you'll have an opportunity to meet some of these folks that you wouldn't ordinarily get a chance to meet. So that's our presidential level at 500. We also have a 250, that's called our vice presidential level. And that affords you, 2 VIP meet and greet receptions. And so it's just a really neat benefit to being part of the forum. And then of course we have our cabinet level at 75, which you can join, and just a good starting point, but those others are definitely some things to shoot for. If networking is important to you and meeting some of these key people, FaceTime, it's an incredible opportunity. Mhm.
Yes, and Mary and I have both, I just want to interject here. Mary and I both have attended many of these wonderful events. Um, I'm not at the presidential level yet, but they are wonderful opportunities. There are women, and I don't think we said this at the very beginning. It's women from all over the tri-state area, I guess, the Maryland, Virginia, and DC.
Mhm.
And Mary and I have met women from not only just Virginia, but for this whole area here.
And
Absolutely.
Jill, Jill, I was going to say too, not only the DMV area, but as you know, COVID has really changed the structure of the world as we know it. And so we're able to reach out to not only women in the DMV area, but also all across the US or frankly, across the world. They can join us online and get a membership just like all the rest of our people that are local. So even as we go forward, we'll see a growing number of women that want to get involved on the national level joining the Republican Women's Federal Forum, and they'll be educated on the timely issues. Just even, so location and geographic location really isn't going to be as much of a strain, perhaps, for some of these women that have been dying to hear some of these incredible educational messages on policy and so forth. It will now be available to them as well. So really excited about that.
One of the things that has stood out to me so much is I've been active in politics since the 80s.
Mhm.
And I just in the last few years have gotten involved in the forum. And the one message we want to get out today to all women is what a wonderful organization this is and how everyone should be involved because you meet so many wonderful people. So hopefully a lot of our listeners today will be interested in joining us.
Mhm.
Right. And I just want to interject here again. DMV, thank you for that. Growing up in Connecticut, the tri-state area was Connecticut, New York, and New Jersey. And I think I said tri-state instead of DMV. I'm sorry.
Terri, you talked a little bit about your involvement in the organization, but is there one thing over the last few years that has really stood out to you that you have loved the most or benefited the most from with the organization?
Absolutely. I just think it is really and truly one of the most unique opportunities to connect to just some of the most amazing Republican women from all over the country in this atmosphere that is a very friendly, sometimes often very intimate setting. And it's just really nice to have um, the mentoring. And that's one thing. There's one particular congressional wife, I won't name her by name, but I know when I was thinking about running, she really gave me some phenomenal advice and kind of took me under her wing a little bit and just said, okay, here's some things that you want to think about. And this is, some things that you might not have considered. And she was so right. And I had those words going through my head multiple times when I was running. She was just spot on. And that was invaluable. And that's just one snapshot of something that, happens all the time through the forum.
Excellent.
Yeah, if I can just follow up on that. I know one of the most delightful ladies I have met in the forum is Senator Grassley's wife, Barbara.
Yes, we love her.
Yeah, she serves as our chairman, but could you tell us a little bit more about her role in the forum?
Sure. Barbara is our chair. She, of course, is very busy being the wife of a senator, but she has been an incredible leader and just someone who, brings such credibility and respect to the organization and has just been a wonderful mentor in many ways as well. So she guides and directs many of our meetings. She is involved in shaping some of the strategy and thought process and how we do what we do. And she has just been such a force for Republican politics for so many years that she brings a lot of wisdom that she shares very freely and brings a lot of humor as well.
I know. And I have to say how much I have truly missed seeing her and all of the women. It's been such a special day for me and my friends to get together and to get on the train and to come to DC for a very special luncheon. So we look forward to that starting again next month, Kimberly. That's awesome.
We absolutely do. Yeah, I can vouch for that. So Kimberly and Terri both, could you share with us what makes the Republican Women's Federal Forum different from other organizations? Because as you know, there are quite a few. in the Virginia and DMV area for women. What makes RWFF different, and why should people join this organization?
That's great, Jill. Thanks for asking that. I think the primary purpose we have is to really be timely and educate our members on the issues, right? So if you want to know about policy and how that's affecting, our world, that's just our primary goal, is to give out that information. And you're going to hear from the top high-level leaders in which to get that information. The second thing that we're doing is just to know that I want to share that the origins of the forum is so amazing that it was first established as the primary place that political leaders would share their policies and ideas prior to implementing them. And I know we saw an article recently that came up from really the 1970s and so forth that we were all just talking about. But if you can imagine before, just implementing something and having that sounding board kind of going off of our name, which is the forum, that's really what we're after, is to be a great sounding board, not only for members, but for members of Congress and so forth and other leaders, but also for our membership within the forum itself to glean information on a timely basis. And then third, as we mentioned already, we just have such an incredible network. Of course, we have many members, their professional backgrounds of all different types that are a part of us. And we also have a number of congressional spouses that are on our advisory council who attend each month. And there's certainly an opportunity to get a chance to meet some of them and connect as well. So I would say those are our top three. And I know Terri has three more that she wants to share with you as well.
Please do.
Well, like Kimberly said, it's about access to premier speakers. Education and training is our, main thing that we are focused on. And I think right now, there's a need for that. I think a lot of people are looking for, information on how to move forward and what's happening. And so that's something that we can provide. I think next, it gives you an opportunity to interact with high-level Republican women from around the country, either online or in person, and allow yourself to be influenced, I think, by some of that, that you wouldn't get anywhere else. You just wouldn't. And then the only other thing that I'll say, as Kimberly shared, we have people that serve in all sorts of different positions throughout government or other types of organizations. And it's wonderful that sometimes they will share firsthand information about what they're working on or things that are coming up. That gives our members the opportunity to be briefed by people that literally are in the trenches firsthand.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Kimberly, I know that so many women are listening today and are now so anxious to get involved in our organization. Can you tell everyone how they might go about getting more involved?
Absolutely. Super simple. You're going to go directly to our website, and that website is RWF and the word forum, FORUM.org, RWFFORUM.org. And you can simply click on the Join Now tab, and it'll give you those memberships that we talked about earlier, the presidential, vice presidential, and cabinet levels. And for those that are students, as well as Capitol Hill's support staff, we also have a $50 membership. So that's available as well. But you want to go directly to that website. And I want to share just a little bit too. We mentioned that we're meeting at the Capitol Hill Club, typically the second or third Thursday of the month. We do like to follow the congressional calendar. So when Congress is in session, we're having our luncheons. The other thing is that this year we'd like to take a few field trips, if you will, do some fun activities where we can have luncheons off-site, and we'll be introducing those this year as well. So it's a perfect time to join. And we'd love to also highlight our next luncheon, which is March 11th. We've had such excitement with the new female members of Congress that have gotten elected. I know you all have been talking about them and excited about them just as much as we have. But on March 11th, we're going to get a chance to hear from Congresswoman Yvette Harrell from New Mexico's 2nd District. So you want to join us for that. And as you know, COVID, there's some spacing limitations. So if you hear this, I would say click the Join Now button as soon as you can so that we can see you there. So thanks for asking.
Thank you. Thank you. That's excellent. I'll be there. I just want to make a note here, a little parallel. Our Suburban Virginia Republican Coalition also is a parent organization of the Northern Virginia Republican Business Forum, and we call it the Forum for short. And we call it the crossroads between politics and business in Northern Virginia. So it's the same kind of thing. We bring speakers in, we bring guests that are, so it's like a parallel organization. And so we totally get the value and the excellent, benefits that we get from the Republican Women's Federal Forum. So thank you for that. So, and we always do a little closing sort of personal note. If either of you want to share some personal things, both of you, about the forum and how it's helped you and all that.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you so much, Jill. I think, what can I say to the listeners that are listening to us right now is I've been involved with this organization for over 20 years. And there are members that have been involved with us for even longer than 20 years. And I can probably count on about one hand how many of these monthly luncheons that I may have missed. I'm telling you, the value of connecting with people and also getting educated is just so high. It's incredible. So that's my really personal take is I love the women that are here. I love the opportunity to, get that information that's cutting. It's right on the front lines. It's coming out. And of course, the network that we have is just super invaluable. So we would just want to welcome, the listeners today to join us as new members and just to really participate, not only educationally, but just to receive some of the benefits that we've been talking about today. And we look forward to having them join on as new members. So thank you.
Before we move on to Terri, I'd like to ask Terri the same question, but one thing that we didn't mention it in your intro, you and your husband also involved in another organization that benefits people on Capitol Hill. Can you just briefly really mention that?
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Jill. Yeah, we serve as founders, my husband and I, Randy, of Alabaster House. It is a ministry to government leaders and their families. And so we serve as a spiritual resource. Simply, we do several different events and, things that we create specifically for them. As you all know and understand, Capitol Hill is such a strenuous place and they're always working so fast and hard. I like to say they're always on the gerbil wheel. They're just running. And I would say Alabaster House is definitely an opportunity to give them kind of refreshing, right? And a safe place where they can be themselves and nothing's really asked of them. And we can just give back spiritually, pray for them and so forth. So that's a little bit about our ministry. And I think there's some quality people, from Alabaster House that do tie into the forum as well. So it's a beautiful connection.
Thank you. Terri, any closing thoughts about your personal benefits and experiences?
Absolutely. I really can't think of anything better in the way of connecting to other Republican women. This has been such a unique opportunity because there's other groups that are out there and they are amazing and they do great work. But to be honest, this just is very unique. You don't have the access, as we've said, to the level of people like this in such intimate settings and with the ability to just connect one-on-one anywhere else. And it's a special group. It was started with just such amazing leaders, and we've just continued that tradition on for years and years. And so you're building off of all that history. And I just invite others to join. I think it really is one of the best things that I've ever been a part of.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, thank you. I have to, and just one more thank you to my new co-host, Mary Campbell. It was her first podcast, but I'm so thrilled that you're here. We are members of this forum together. So it just was really wonderful having us all on together.
And thank you, Kimberly and Terri as well.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mary. One of the things that I love that the two of you are doing, Jill and Mary, is that they are bringing their groups, right, and their spheres of influence where they're on the local level, and they're inviting them to come, and they often get a table, of ladies just to connect. And I know it's just been an encouraging opportunity for you all as well. And so we just want to thank you for getting the word out, and then also for mobilizing so many women to join the Republican Women's Federal Forum. So we really do appreciate you both for all that you're doing.
Excellent. Thank you, ladies. And just want to say thank you all the listeners out there and viewers for listening to this edition of Think Suburbia, the podcast of the Suburban Virginia Republican Coalition. You can go to our website. We've done podcasts with many, many candidates over the last couple of years. We do issues-based podcasts. We do candidate podcasts. We have a YouTube channel. So you can go to our SUVGOP.com website, go to the drop-down menu that says SUVGOP podcasts, and you will see our library there. And this will be the latest edition. So thank you for listening to this edition.